Nick Witney published a very interesting analysis in the European Council on Foreign Relations titled The Great Brexit Heist, with some very interesting examples. The BBC knows its national audience and therefore scheduled the film Dunkirk for the stellar Christmas primetime. The British loved nothing more than tales of heroically averted disaster and celebrate them as great victories. And so it was with the Brexit in extremis, and that was announced by a triumphant Prime Minister Boris Johnson on December 24th. When the press returned to their usual programming after the holidays, the Brexiter newspapers were quick to express their opinion. "Rejoice, we have a future of freedom and joy before us," the Sunday Express raved. In reality, the public's reaction has been more one of relief than triumphalism. After 5 years of bitterness, the desire to end Brexit has been palpable, and the week of transport chaos caused by the brief French closure of the English Channel crossings in response to the new mutation of the COVID-19 virus in Britain vividly showed what a failure to reach an agreement could have meant. In addition, the nation has had more important things to worry about as the latest wave of the virus spirals out of control and hospitalizations exceed even the levels reached in the dark days of last April. It's no wonder that Brexit has largely been displaced from the headlines. Brexit was sold as a way to restore the UK's historic parliamentary sovereignty. So it's ironic that the British Parliament itself was forced into barely a 5.5-hour debate in which to scrutinize a 1246-page treaty and 80 more supplementary legislation before voting and approving the text. Still, Brexit supporters can be content that their idiosyncratic notion of sovereignty consistently trumps British economic interest in this uncompromisingly tough Brexit, and despite the corollary that the European Union will preserve its own freedom to retaliate wherever it is. The EU has also not given up its sovereign right to make a series of unilateral regulatory judgments that will have a profound impact on the UK's ability to continue selling to the much larger EU market in all the fields, from financial equivalence to adequacy of the data to phytosanitary regimes to product conformity. Resting the urge to rejoice, the burdened and pessimistic have also been trying to spoil the party by suggesting that Brexit is not at all over. All the new constraints and sources of frictions in the UK's economic, political and human interactions with the EU are just beginning. The impact on the UK growth rate, which is already the worst hit by the pandemic of any G7 nation, is projected to amount to 6% of GDP or more over the next 10 years. And the treaty's governance and review provisions have set the stage for a near constant process of bargaining with Brussels. With such Brexit after a year of woeful inaptitude to respond to the coronavirus, the UK had the 4th highest per capita death rate in Europe, by the way, one might assume that the Johnson's government is on its last legs. But taking it for granted could be a mistake for 3 reasons. First of all, any inclination for dissent within the ranks will be mitigated by the fact that leading Brexiters have largely ensured that they will not be personally affected. The main barons of the Brexiteer press are expatriates. Johnson's own father now claims French citizenship. The asset management company co-founded by Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg, who was Theresa May's main political assassin, has settled in Dublin. Mogg resigned from the firm upon joining Johnson's cabinet in 2019. Sir James Dyson has departed for Singapore. Fellow Brexit billionaire Sir James Ratcliffe announced in December that his new 4x4, patriotically named the Grenadier, it will be built in France. The COVID-19 emergency has also provided the government with opportunities to hand over jobs and contracts to friends and allies, in what critics call a new democracy, a ruling elite who attended the same schools and universities. Second, those who now run Britain have fully absorbed the Trumpian lesson that if you lie without shame or hesitation, you can usually get away with it. Never mind that Britain no longer has access to the EU's crime-fighting databases and British police access the Schengen information system 600 million times a year. Home Secretary Priti Patel affirms that the British will now be safer. Johnson declares, in announcing a deal requiring a completely new customs regime for British exports, that there will be no non-tariff barriers to trade, and cheerfully rejects repeated challenges in parliamentary debate to clarify this matter. Politicians have long resorted to tricks, even gossip. The British government has now embraced direct lying as the most effective. Third, attacks on democratic constraints have also had their effects. With its unwritten constitution, Britain is especially vulnerable in this regard. Parliament has been marginalised. The BBC, the judiciary and the public administration threatened and cowed in various ways. The government has also displayed an Albanese talent for finding scapegoats and sowing division. Through a long decade of austerity, public services and benefits were cut and tax increases avoided. Rising inequality was marked by fighters against bums. The British Conservative Party is admittedly ruthless and successful in retaining power. Johnson himself could be euthanized in the coming months if polls suggest a new leader and prime minister would be more popular. The entire government could even fall. But don't bet on either of these two options. As the British re-enter lockdown in this gloomy January, their rulers may choose to unwind in front of another beloved film, a favorite of English football fans, The Great Escape, or one of those hilarious heist and scam shenanigans where the lovable rogues laugh from the stands. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.